Syria's defense minister and his deputy have been killed in a suicide bombing in Damascus. The minister is the most senior official within the Syrian government to have been killed since the conflict began last year. The attack adds to the violence that's been rocking the Syrian capital for days now. Joining us live now from the centre of the city, RT's Maria Finoshna. Let's get the latest on this. Good to see you, Maria. Can you update us on the latest developments from where you are?
Well, Rory, the suicide bombing that killed Syrian Defense Minister and his deputy, who's also been President Bashar al-Assad's brother-in-law and former Deputy Chief of Staff, has happened on Wednesday in the very heart of Damascus in daylight, just less than 5 kilometers from where we are. We have been able to hear the sound of this explosion, and we have to say that we have to admit that it has been a very intense and massive blast. Reports are that a suicide bomber had attacked a national security building here in Damascus at the time when a meeting of cabinet ministers and security officials has been going on there. I have to say that this area where this blast happened is known to be very safe and very calm. It's actually a luxury area. We've been there many times, and there are many restaurants there. It's home to many official buildings, such as old building of foreign ministry or culture ministry. So, of course, security has been very tight in this area, or specifically in this area. So this is why right now there are many concerns on security situation here in Damascus, obviously. Free Syrian Army has already claimed responsibility for what happened, but we're also hearing that some world news agencies are saying that the man who carried out this attack has been one of President Bashar al-Assad's bodyguards. Of course, given how massive the blast was, we can understand that there have been many people killed, but so far we only have information on 6 people, all of them Syrian security leadership, and we've also been hearing that there have been many civilians killed and many damages caused by this blast of the buildings and cars around. Well, this is actually all we have for the time being now.
All right, Maria, if I may, just to say, as the violence is heating up in Damascus and surrounding areas where you are there in Syria, certainly the international community is responding in kind. Certainly just got a statement here just in the past few moments from the UK Foreign Secretary William Hague. He's saying, quote, that today's bombing in Damascus confirms the urgent need for the UN Security Council to implement Chapter 7 or Article 7, ultimately permitting foreign intervention. As we also know, we're getting more details on this in a few minutes. The Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan is here for talks in Moscow to try and resolve the conflict in neighbouring Syria. So if you will, for the meantime, just bring us up to speed on what's been happening in Damascus, certainly in the build-up to today's massive explosion.
Well, the Syrian capital has been going through really tough times in the last 72 hours, in the last 4 days. We've been going through what Free Syrian Army and opposition and all forces trying to bring Assad regime down has dubbed as final battle and the decisive battle for Damascus. We've been hearing shootings in very different parts of the capital. We've been seeing black smoke drifting over the city's skyline, and we've also been hearing helicopters not only flying over one of the oldest continuously inhabited capitals in the world, but also firing. So it's been a very dramatic picture actually here on the ground, and people here, those who we've been able to speak to, say they are surprised. Actually, they couldn't imagine this to happen, or just they didn't want to believe this may happen in their home. There have been clashes reported in at least 5 areas in Damascus, all in southern part of the city, recently we've been hearing that the heaviest clashes have been taking place in an area known as Midan. It's been the epicenter of the opposition since the beginning of the uprising. It's been seen for many anti-governmental demonstrations there. Free Syrian Army has claimed today that they are now controlling this area, while governmental sources are denying this information. Well, as I just told, this is a very dramatic picture here on the ground, but actually Damascus is a very big city with a population of around 2 million people, and we can see just go different Damascus depending on where we go. In an area where we are right now, we can see life is going on normally, and people are taking their lunch at the restaurants, and there are cars on the roads, and it all looks like nothing happens just 5 kilometers away from here. And this is happening, and this is like this, obviously because Syrian people has nowhere to run. The war has come to their doorstep, and they have to organize their life to, they say life must go on, and this is exactly what they're trying to do, to continue live.
All right, Artie Zamaria Fonoshna live in Damascus. Thank you. Well, meantime, UK-based Middle East affairs expert Christopher Marston, he says there's a much broader geopolitical agenda behind the escalating conflict in Syria.
One would assume that this is a major military setback for Assad and for his security services. But more importantly, I think that it's a political setback with a very deliberate intent. The Free Syrian Army has conducted this campaign in order to prove that the Assad government is destabilised, that Syria is in the midst of a civil war, and to back its call for intervention by the Western powers. The Free Syrian Army is made up of pro-American elements, Islamists, supporters of the Saudi and other Gulf monarchies, and the aim is to depose Assad in order to weaken the position of Russia and China in the Middle East region, and to secure the hegemony of the United States and its Gulf allies.